let's get into what I consider to be the most important news story that has come out over the last couple days. On December 24th, there was a video that was released on YouTube that I'm sure many people have seen by now. It has 2.2 million views at the moment, and it comes from our good friend Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, as you remember, has been accused by more than one person of sexual assault. And there was a court case that was going on earlier this year. Didn't actually go to trial, which we're going to get into that in a minute. But on December 24th, 2018, he released his first video called Let Me Be Frank, in which he talked about what was going on as his character Frank Underwood from the show House of Cards. And this is what he did again. All he named it was KTWK, which stood for Kill Them With Kindness. This is the video. It's not as long as the first video, but we're going to be watching both of them. This video is only a minute long. And once again, he's playing the character of Frank Underwood. So let's listen to what Kevin Spacey, or Frank Underwood, I guess you could also say, has to say.
You didn't really think I was going to miss the opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas, did you? It's been a pretty good year, and I'm grateful to have my health back. And in light of that, I've made some changes in my life, and I'd like to invite you to join me. As we walk into 2020, I want to cast my vote for more good in this world.
Ah, yes, I know what you're thinking. Can he be serious?
I'm dead serious. And it's not that hard, trust me. The next time someone does something you don't like, you can go on the attack, but you can also hold your fire and do the unexpected. You can kill them with kindness.
So that is the video. Now, I've kind of gotten the feeling from his last video he put out, the one about Let Me Be Frank, I kind of got this feeling that has been reinforced by the release of this one. And that is that Kevin Spacey was never talking to the people, us, about what was going on. But he was talking to specific people. And now, who would those specific people be? In my opinion, it's those who were involved with the court case, the accusations that were made against him. And there's a reason for this. He says a few things in there that I find are very important. He talks about how it's been a pretty good year for him. Well, what happened to Kevin Spacey in 2019, sorry. That we're going to be getting into in a minute. He uses the term and looks deadpan into the camera with a look of real seriousness on his face. He says, kill him with kindness. Now, what is he making reference to? What does this all have to do? Well, we can work our way backwards over what's happened over 2019. Now, there was this, so what happened on Christmas Day concerning Kevin Spacey, where he says you can kill him with kindness? Well, quite interesting. Scandinavian writer who accused Kevin Spacey of sexual misconduct dies at 47. This was released on, it was posted on December 26th, yesterday, but it would happen on Christmas. Scandinavian writer Ari Behn, the ex-husband of Norwegian princess Martha Louise, and among the people who accused actor Kevin Spacey of sexual misconduct, died this week, his manager said. He was 47. Behn died by suicide on Wednesday, his manager told the Norwegian news service NTB. Authorities say he was found in his home in Norway. In 2017, Behn accused Spacey of groping him under the table at a Nobel Peace Prize concert in Oslo a decade earlier. It didn't appear that Behn ever pursued criminal charges or a lawsuit against Kevin Spacey. So all I can do is speculate on this situation. But if you ask me, they gave him the Jeffrey Epstein treatment. I don't believe for a second that this man actually committed suicide, because I know the connections that Kevin Spacey has back to the political elite. This man is a longtime Democratic supporter and Democratic contributor. He has been connected all the way back to the Clintons, who have their own body count that we've talked about before, and I'm sure most people are aware of it by now. All the suspicious deaths that have happened around the Clintons. Now, this is happening with Kevin Spacey as of 2019, and maybe even earlier. Maybe even earlier than that, but we can guarantee what's happened in 2019 that this is the case. So I believe that this man was murdered, and there's a reason for it, because it even states down here that this guy, Ari Bent, it didn't appear he ever pursued criminal charges or a lawsuit against Kevin Spacey. Now, that might be true, but that doesn't mean that Bent couldn't play his part in an actual court case. This is the type of guy that can be brought in by the prosecution in order to set up a history, set up a precedent of a series of actions that were carried out by Spacey to give legitimacy towards the accusations that are being leveled against him. So this is where he can play his part. But it's quite clear to me that Kevin Spacey is a narcissist. He is a heavy narcissist. And this would mean that he would want to right the wrongs. He would want to get revenge on those who have wronged him, especially in such a public way. Leading up to these accusations that Spacey had to deal with, he was a superstar. He was in the biggest movies. He played the most iconic characters. I doubt people have seen a movie where Kevin Spacey wasn't in it and didn't dominate that role. But even before that, he was the star. He was the star of a Netflix show that was dominating. House of Cards. Everybody knew that show. People were watching it. I was in the midst of watching it when all this came out against Kevin Spacey. At the time, that was what people were talking about. You watched Netflix, you watched House of Cards. And then these accusations came out, and it all came crumbling down. He lost his position on the show. Nobody wanted to touch him. His image that he had built up for the last 2 or 3 decades was completely destroyed. You just wronged a narcissist in public in the worst way. You can guarantee that there is going to be payback for that. Now, in Christmas Day 2018, 1 year ago, a little over a year ago, he released this video here, the Let Me Be Frank video. Now let's watch this one and see what he says, and then compare that not only to what he did in the Kill 'Em With Kindness video, but also what happened, I should say, over the last year.
I know what you want. Oh, sure, they may have tried to separate us, but what we have is too strong, it's too powerful. I mean, after all, we shared everything, you and I. I told you my deepest, darkest secrets. I showed you exactly what people are capable of. I shocked you with my honesty, but mostly I challenged you and made you think. And I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and had just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple? Only you and I both know it's never that simple, not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe the worst without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you? No, not you. You're smarter than that. Anyway, all this presumption made for such an unsatisfying ending, and to think it could have been such a memorable send-off. I mean, if you and I have learned nothing else these past years, it's that in life and art, nothing should be off the table. We weren't afraid, not of what we said and not of what we did, and we're still not afraid. Because I can promise you this. If I didn't pay the price for the things we both know I did do, I'm certainly not going to pay the price for the things I didn't do. Oh, of course, they're going to say I'm being disrespectful, not playing by the rules, like I ever played by anyone's rules before. I never did, and you loved it. Anyhow, despite all the poppycock, the animosity, the headlines, the impeachment without a trial, despite everything, despite even my own death, I feel surprisingly good. And my confidence grows each day that soon enough you will know the full truth. Wait a minute. Now that I think of it, you never actually saw me die, did you? Conclusions can be so deceiving. Miss me?
So that was released December 24th, 2018. Just before the series of events that we are going to get into. Now, in this situation, in this video, I think it's a little bit different than the Kill Him With Kindness video, in that he was talking to someone in particular, but he was also sending a message to the audience. The way that some of the stuff he said, but buried underneath everything, buried underneath his overt message where he's talking to us, the people, he was sending a clear message to those who wronged him. And this video was released very soon before everything started crumbling down. Not for Kevin Spacey, but for the allegations around him. We go now to Tiffany Fitzhenry's official website, tiffanyfitzhenry.com. This was released 11 months ago. Kevin Spacey whistleblower killed. The first whistleblower to go public with allegations branding Kevin Spacey a sexual predator is dead, and her grieving family is demanding answers. In a world-exclusive, Radar Online revealed yesterday that the investigators have launched a murder probe into Linda Culkin's mysterious death, while 59-year-old Kevin Spacey faces a felony charge of indecent assault and battery for allegedly groping a young man in Nantucket, Massachusetts in 2016. On February 25th, Culkin was walking to her home when she was mowed down by a Toyota as she stepped into a busy intersection. Quincy Police Captain John Dugans told Radar. She later died at Boston Medical Center. No charges were filed against the driver, who remained at the scene. This is coming from Culkin's cousin Cindy, 60. Quote, Linda was one of the first to accuse Kevin Spacey of attacking young men, and I find it very odd that you don't hear anything more than her accident, or about the person who hit her. It's like it happened, and now there is nothing. So February 25th, about 2 months after he put out this video, this cryptic video, the first whistleblower against him ends up dead. But if you think this is the only one, this and this Ari Ben guy are the only ones dead, oh, you're dead wrong. Because there was another one that happened back in May. Again, from Tiffany Fitzhenry. Second Kevin Spacey accuser dies, this time in midst of sexual assault lawsuit. Like a plot twist straight out of House of Cards, the plaintiff claimed to have been sexually assaulted by Kevin Spacey has died, according to a notice filed by in court by the actor's attorney today. According to The Hollywood Reporter, quote, the individual suing as John Doe filed claims in September 2018 with the allegations of being forced to grab the actor's genitals twice during a massage 2 years earlier at a private residence in Malibu. In May, a federal judge in California allowed the case to move forward despite Spacey's objection that the plaintiff's identity was being shielded, end quote. Only 4 weeks ago, the parties had come to a plan for proceeding in the suit that was to include prospective discovery and would likely have been a 7 to 11 day trial. However, now, in turn of eerily like a plot of the ever-evil Francis Underwood would hatch, the plaintiff's attorney has informed Spacey that the client, quote-unquote, recently passed. No more information regarding the plaintiff's sudden death in the midst of the lawsuit is available at this time, according to news reports. Adding a level of intrigue in the entire situation is the fact that criminal charges against Spacey were recently dropped in Nantucket, Massachusetts, where Spacey had pled not guilty to felony indecent assault and battery. In that case, the accuser, a teenage boy, suddenly stopped cooperating, and the prosecutors withdrew the charges. So over the last year, not even a year, because this all started in February 2015, we have the first whistleblower dead. We have one of his accusers dead. We have an underage accuser who was working with authorities and with the court who suddenly stopped cooperating. And then we have another accuser who winds up dead. There's no, you ask me, in my opinion, that's not a coincidence. Now, I'm being very careful of my words, of course. I have to say, in my opinion, that is not a coincidence. And again, with everything we've already named, with the connection all the way back to the Clintons and the political establishment, with the Democratic Party, and even leading back to Jeffrey Epstein, who we're going to be getting into in a few minutes. All the way back to Jeffrey Epstein, because Kevin Spacey's name was in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book. We know that Kevin Spacey flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, the Lolita Express, with Chris Tucker, actually, at the same time, when they went to Africa. Why they went to Africa? Who knows? Maybe it was to... speculating, of course. Just speculation. Maybe it was to find more underage girls. To be brought back in the plane, all the way back to Jeffrey Epstein's island. But this is no coincidence. Not in my opinion. And he's teasing us. These videos are meant to tease us. The first one, let me be frank, and this latest one, the kill him with kindness. What does he say in that? At the very beginning.
You didn't really think I was going to miss the opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas, did you? It's been a pretty good year, and I'm grateful to have my health back.
It's been a pretty good year, and I'm grateful to have my health back. It was a damn good year to be Kevin Spacey, because all the people accusing you ended up dead or stopped cooperating. All the charges against you were dropped. See, Kevin Spacey, he's been an asset to the deep state, and the deep state is paying him back. He's done a lot of good for them, done a lot of propaganda films for them. And now, when he got into trouble, they were there. They were there when he needed them in order to make all these problems go away. So don't believe for a second that this is just all a coincidence, which some will believe it's just a crazy conspiracy theory. Well, call me a conspiracy theorist then. Because I'll tell you right now, this conspiracy theory makes a lot more sense than that all these accusers just suddenly drop dead.